Hi everyone, it's Joy Nelson, or Stamp with Joy, and I am an independent demonstrator from the Denver, Colorado area here in the United States. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make this fun card. It may look a little bit complicated if you're a brand new beginner, but it really is pretty easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. So let's put that over there. So first off, I need a card base. So this is half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So it does measure, let's get the inch side. It does measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then it has been scored at 4.25 inches. So that is our card base. And you know, take your bone folder, make a nice crisp crease with that. So that's our card base, and then we're going to need the other pieces, which are in the annual catalog, the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog that runs from May 2025 to April 2026. And we're going to use most of a suite of products that is the Beautiful Gallery Suite collection. And so we're going to be using all except the ribbon here. So we're going to be using all these other pieces. I'm going to go ahead and show those to you now. So first off, we have the Beautiful Gallery 6x6 Designer Series paper. And I'm going to quickly flip through and show you the front and back sides of each of these. They are so pretty. Okay, that's the front side. We're using the back side. So that's the piece we're going to use today. So we'll set that one aside. And then we have, you know, I have like side A and side B, but you know, you can decide which side you think is the A side and which side you think is the B side. And so we're just quickly flipping through. They are so beautiful, and they look very like kind of they're vintage. They look Victorian, I would say. And so we have this piece here. So let me go ahead and bring in my Stampin' Up! Trimmer. We have a scoring blade and a cutting blade, and I love my trimmer. So let's go ahead, let's put the 6x6 in here, and we're going to trim it down to 4 inches, and then we're going to trim it to 5.25 inches. And then we're going to trim a little piece down here. I'm going to hold it in place with a little low-tack tape here. We're going to put it on the 1/2 inch mark, and we're going to hold that down, and then we're going to cut that down to 1/2 inch, and that will be a strip that we will use on the inside. So now we have this piece here, and it is 1/4 inch smaller on each side. So this measures 4.25 inches by 5.5 inches when our card base is closed. So our first layer is going to be 4 inches by 5.25 inches, 5.25 right there. So it's 1/4 inch smaller on two sides. And then it gives a nice little matting layer there. So we also need some die cuts. Let me go ahead and show you. I'm using mostly the Beautiful Motifs stamp and die set. So together these make the Beautiful Motifs Bundle. And I'm going to be cutting out, well, I did cut out already to save a little bit of time, some of this detailed leaf here out of this piece. And then this also comes in the suite. This is the Gallery Blooms. I'm not going to be using the stamp set today, but I am going to be using the dies. And this has all these wonderful dies in it, but I'm going to be using the frame die here. And the Damask Designs embossing folder, we're going to be using that as well. Now, the die cut here, it will die cut out 2 frames and this little piece here in the middle. So you can save that piece And we're going to save the larger one. So these two pieces we will save for another project because we only need the smaller frame today. And I'm going to show you, I did 2 of these here, these little die cuts here. Now, we need to go ahead and bring in our large Stampin' Cut and Emboss, the Big Boss. And we need to bring in, we're going to do the embossing folder. So we need the number 1. And since this is a regular embossing folder, we need the 1 and 2 3s. So you go 1, and then you have one of your 3s. And then you take out your embossing folder. And you're going to make sure that you always put the folded edge inside. So we're going to bring our piece of Designer Series paper in, and we're going to line it up. See this little line here by the logo, by the Stampin' Up logo? We're going to bring this in, and we're going to emboss that. So our number 1, one of our number 3s, and then the other number 3 goes on top. One thing to remember when you're embossing folders, you always put a plate on top and you always feed the folded end into the machine. You never feed the part, the open end into the machine. Always the folded end goes into the machine. So we're going to run that through and get our nice little embossing on this piece. I'm going to bring that in and I'll show you here. So this has some texture now. So this is the piece that we cut off, which does not have texture versus the piece that does have texture. So it just gives it a little extra for our card. So now we have that done. And it is time to bring in some ink. So we're going to bring in this ink. We're going to bring in the white craft pad, the Whisper White craft pad. They now come, this is an older one, they now come uninked with a refill, and then you ink it up the first time you use it, and then each time you need additional ink, you have the refill right there. Let's bring that in, and this, and I've already started doing some of this here, but I'm going to bring in a small blending brush and the Whisper White ink. And I just want ink right on the edge here, so just getting some ink right there, kind of blot it off a little bit, and then you're going to go all the way around on the edges, kind of blend that around on the edges, and get that on right there. I've already kind of done it, so I'm just showing you how, but you get it until it's the way you want it. So we have one Lost Lagoon die cut that doesn't have the ink and one that does. So we're going to bring in a heat tool and we're going to dry that. But first I want to show you our embossing kit. So our embossing kit comes with a tray, comes with a brush, it comes with the reverse tweezers, and it comes with an embossing buddy. So you have this nice little embossing buddy, and I like to go ahead, I try not to get it too much on the inside, try to kind of hold the edges or the sides. First off, I'm going to put some in the tray here. So that's going to be ready to go for a minute. And I'm going to take my crosshatch tweezers or my reverse tweezers. I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to bring in my heat tool. And I'm going to dry this ink with heat. I did not put any powder on this to set it. I just wanted it to look just kind of frosted. I really didn't want the powder on it for this. So there we have those two ready to go. We're going to set that aside. And then we're going to bring in a piece of Lost Lagoon, kind of a scrap strip of Lost Lagoon. And this piece is 3/4 of an inch wide by 2 3/4 of an inch long. And I do need this embossing buddy. Need to put that all over this piece here. Kind of get some good powder, rub it really good, make sure I get all my fingerprints off of here. We do not want any fingerprints on here. I want to make sure they're all off. And then I'm going to bring in my stamp that says thank you for everything. It is part of the Beautiful Motifs set. And I'm going to bring in my ink, my white ink. And you want to lightly tap. If you're getting ink all around your block here, all around where the stamp is, you're pressing too hard on your ink pad. So we're just going to tap that, get some good ink on here. And we're going to try to get this straight and just kind of hold it there for a minute to kind of let the ink get on there hopefully evenly. Okay, we're going to flip that over. Take two. This is a good thing why paper has two sides to it. We're gonna get a little bit on that one because we don't want that sticky. So we're gonna get some here, and we're gonna try that one more time. And we're gonna hold it evenly. Okay, that's better. Hopefully that works really good. We shall see in a minute when we get the powder on. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's get this going here. We're going to flip off any excess powder. We do not want any excess powder on here. And we're going to go ahead and put the powder back in our container. This is the Basics Wow embossing powder. This is the white. It does come three. It comes white, black, and clear. So we're going to get this back into our container. Use the brush to kind of get all of it in. And then once you get it all in, you go ahead and seal up your container. Move that aside, and we're going to bring in our heat tool, and we're going to melt that powder. So we have that one. And is it all melted? It's pretty good. Now, you can take your pick tool, and if you get some little areas where you have embossing powder that you didn't want, so sometimes this works absolutely perfectly, and sometimes not as much. So we're just going to scratch off a little bit of that with the end of our take your pick tool. And since we're doing this on camera, we're just going to pretend that everything went beautifully, and we're going to go ahead and finish our card. As you can see, it worked out really well when I did my sample. This one is okay, but not quite like I would like it. I would probably try to do it again, but for time constraints for the video, I'm just going to go with this for now. And we are going to start doing some assembly here. All right. Oh, and we're taking a tissue. Once it's dry and cool, you can take a tissue and get the rest of that powder off. So there we have that. And first off, we're going to attach our layer. We're starting our assembly now, And I'm going to bring in some Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to go ahead and use that to attach our layer. And this is very sticky, so you want to really think about where you're going to put it. I'm standing up if my voice sounds differently. So there we have that on. This one needs some dimensionals. So dimensionals, these are Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to be using the black ones this time. They do come in white, and they come in mini, white and mini. And then the black ones have both mini and full-size ones in the same package. So we're going to use, I'm going to use up what's left here. I always use all the edge pieces and everything. So we're just putting this on the back of our frame, and we're just going to rip up some of these. And we're going to put these on here. Then we're going to grab a brand new package, and we're going to finish this. I like lots of dimensionals. Dimensionals are inexpensive, so I like to use lots of them because I don't like saggy parts on my cards. So you use as many as you need when you're doing this. And then I need, let's see, need one on the end. And one on the other end. And I think that should be good. All right. So now we have this going on, and we have our two pieces here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to just put a little dot of glue. Now I took some of the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue, the multi-purpose liquid glue here, and I put it inside just a little fine tip, metal tip and precision tip bottle, and I'm going to just put a little bit on the back here in a couple of places. Just put a little bit on. Then I'm gonna offset this. Like so. And this is gonna go on. Let's see, do I have, I think I have some powder on this. We're gonna just rub that off a little bit. And I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, again, the pointed end. It comes with a spatula end, a pointed end, and then it has a couple of other tips here that you can get with the Take Your Pick tool. I love my Take Your Pick tool. It works really well, and it will get those papers off really quickly, especially some of you that have manicures that don't allow you to pick things, really tiny things up very well. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to kind of set that on here about like so. And then this, we want a little bit of this down here on this end. This is going to go under here. Okay, I shouldn't have a dimensional there. There we go. This is going to slide under. I want it on this side. I want it a little bit further over. There we go. All right. This is going to go on like this. You don't want it going off the edge, but you do want it on kind of the side of the frame here. And now that is sticking together. And then we want a couple little tiny dots of glue back here. Did I get it in the right place? I didn't get it in the right place. There. And I'm just putting a couple little tiny dots. There we go. So this is kind of free. This is kind of floating free. We're not going to worry about that. And then we're going to take this piece here and we're going to slide this in. This is going to go on the edge here. And we can take a little bit of glue right on the back of this one here. All right, so there we have that. Now we just need the embellishments. So again, these are the pressed flower motifs, and these are metal, and so they are a little heavier. So if you're mailing this, you might need to pay a little bit extra for postage. I'm not sure, I haven't weighed it. So we need one down here and two little ones up in here. We're using the other end, the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. There we have it. And now we just need the inside piece. So we have our inside piece. This is also 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to take that little 1/2 inch strip. And this I've already run through the embossing folder to match our layer here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the Stampin' Seal in a couple of spots. And then I'm going to put this on down here at the bottom. So now we have our thank you for everything, and then we have a nice clean space to write on to make a personalized note. So just gonna go ahead and put some of this on here. And we have a nice little border around on that side. So there we have our card. It is our thank you for everything with the beautiful motifs, from the Beautiful Gallery Suite. And there you have our card. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you will go ahead and like this video and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of the videos that I have done. Until next time, bye.